Hello, welcome to Bubble University. Today I want to introduce you to repeating groups. Repeating groups are awesome. You'll find them everywhere all over the internet, from your best social media network like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, to beautiful platforms like Airbnb, where you go find houses that you want to spend the night. You can see these are all repeating groups. How do you know? Because they are cards and they all look the same. Repeating groups don't have to be cards. They can be text, they can be images, they can be videos, but you would see they're all designed the same. If I hover around most of these cards, you would see they perform the same function, If I click on it, it goes to the same place, and the next page is organized similarly. So you find repeating groups all over the place. This is a repeating group, right? This is a repeating group. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are all repeating group. If I click on show all photos, it's going to pop up another repeating group just styled differently. So this is the Mansouri layout, that's what it's called. So on other places you find repeating group are e-commerce stores like Jumia. This is Jumia, and you find repeating groups here. You can see this is a card. Once I over the next card, you see the same thing, add to cart, the same thing. If you click on add to cart right here, you're going to see another repeating group over again. It's invalid. So if I click it, you're going to see so this particular item doesn't have a lot of pictures, but if it does have a lot of pictures, you will see repeating groups over here. And this is another repeating group. I'm going to open Twitter. Everything about Twitter is repeating group. So you can see we have repeating group, repeating group, repeating group, repeating group. You have a lot of repeating group over here. Posts are repeating group. Notifications are repeating groups. This is a list of notifications. These are list of things that you're interested in. Your messages are a list. They are all repeating groups, so you'll find them all over the place. With that said, let's see how to use repeating groups in Bubble. So first thing first, don't forget, repeating group is just a type of a container that houses a particular type of content, right? So I'm going to be adding this repeating group inside another container, a group, right? That's where I'm going to be adding it. The reason why I am adding it inside a group, so I can differentiate the different repeating group in my application. Going back to Airbnb over again, and you're looking at having different layout. Maybe you want a repeating group to appear on the side, you want one to appear on top. You can use different type of repeating groups in your application, but those repeating groups are going to be housed inside a container, right? I hope you're getting me. Inside a particular container, but this is one repeating group, but they are just being sorted. So bed and breakfast is just been sorted, tropical is just been sorted. So everything is just been sorted, but they are very similar repeating group. So I'm going back to my Bubble application right here, and this is my repeating group. This is my group, parent group. So what I'm going to add a repeating group inside of it. This is my repeating group. I'm going to add it so you can stretch it the whole place. It doesn't matter from the beginning to the end. It's fine. We're only interested in designing just one card. Remember, we're designing just one card, and that card is going to multiply depending on the number of data you want to show to your users. So for my repeating group, I'll click inside of it. I'll come to layout, and I'll turn it to a row, because I want it to go from side to side. Row, and I'll just give it a margin of 40 all over. I give it 40 all over. That's what I'm going to give it. And for the width, I would make it max, take it max, and I'll just give it like 40. So this is the card. We're designing the parent card inside of it. For the height, I'm going to give it 400 also. Fit height to content, just leave it that way, it's fine. Still on my repeating group, it's a row, and that's fine. And I'm coming back here, under my parent type of content, I'm going to call it shoe, because I'm just pretending to design an e-commerce store. I'm going to call it shoe. And for my data source, I'm just going to call it shoe. Do a search for shoe, right? That's going to be my data source. I'm not adding any constraint. That's it. And for my number of rows, I'm just going to check it. So it'd be one row, no mean height for row. For number of columns, No. Here I'm just going to say 0. That's fine. Mean number of okay, I'm going back again. Number of rows 0. Yeah. Mean width of column 100. Scroll vertical, fine, don't worry, we can change that vertical to horizontal. So for a separator, we can discuss that later, but let's focus on the repeating group. So we have a repeating group, and here we have the height, fit height to content. No, just allow it go from top to bottom, but later we can decide to fit it to content or not. So the next thing we want to do is to put a group inside our repeating group. So just put a group inside of it, right? Bubble has this funny way of doing things sometimes where you try to put some stuff inside a repeating group and it doesn't work out. So just drag it. Just gonna drag it inside the repeating group, and voila, that's it. This is my column, and my column is going to be, my group is going to be a column. It's going to be, the width is going to go from side to side. I'm going to give it a 400. Mean height, I'm just going to give it a 400. I think I made a mistake earlier, right? We're going to go correct it together. And gap spacing, yeah, don't worry, we'll talk about gap spacing later. Row gap spacing, just give it a 20. And for margin, just give it a 20 all around. Don't worry, just give it a 20 all around. You see how this is going to work out later. And go back to your row, to your repeating group, and take away the mean height and the max height so that our group can stretch. We can stretch our group. That's fine. And yeah, so that's all we have to do for the group. So let's come back here to our group. Mean height of row. Don't worry. Yeah, I think we're fine. So this is our group. Let's come here, just add an image to the group. The image is going to go from side to side. Don't worry about the height, just take it from side to side. That's our image. So let's take the background off here so you can see it. These are repeating group. These are group. Give it an appearance. Background color flat. So these are background color. You can see the way our group looks like. That's our background color for the group. So this is our other group right here. Give it a yellow color. Yeah, so right there. Layout. Yeah, I'm fitting width to the content. So this is we have an image inside of it. Click on the group. We have our data type is shoe, current group, current shoe, and this is our image, dynamic. So just get the image of the shoe URL. So that's all we have to do right there. But let's go ahead and preview and see what's happening, so we can get a view of what's happening. So we can see we have all our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these are all our pictures, but it's not really coming out well. Let's go back to our pictures for the group. The group itself, just going to take the color off so we can see. And the repeating group, do we have colors? No. For the, yeah, take it away. And so we have just this. Let's see what's happening. Let's just trace everything. No. Repeating group. So we have our repeating group. It's a row. And we have our column margin. It's a row. So let's come back here. Let's come back here. Set fixed number of rows. Yes. Just one row. We want just a single row. Yeah, this is where we have an issue. Set one, just fixed number of rows. We come back here. Refresh. It should be good. Oh, so now we have our image all over the place, right? Don't worry, we're going to change that. So we have fixed number of rows now. Let's go back. Fit number of rows, stretch to fill horizontal space. Okay. And then what else do we have? Set fit number of columns, no. Separator, don't worry. So let's go back to our inner group. It's pretty long because I really want you to get it, and I'm learning too. So we have this. So let's stretch from top to bottom. So this will take our image from top to bottom, right? That's where we're stretching to. Fit width to content. Let's leave it checked and go see what's happening. Okay, so let's uncheck fit width to content and refresh. Okay, so now we see where the trouble is coming from. Fit width to content, that's where the trouble is coming from. So let's go back here and add a few things to our image, to our card. Remember, this is the card that's housing the image. Let's add a few things to the card. We're going to add text to the card. Then we'll add, this text is going to be description, parent shoe, description. And for the layout of the text, we're just going to let it flow from side to side. Just going to let it flow from side to side. And the min width, just leave the min width to be, say, 100. That's fine. Just let it flow. And then we'll duplicate this text. Oh, don't worry. Let's just make the next one a button. Layout. The button is going to be fit width to content. Don't worry. Button fit width to content. And we're just going to say buy now. Right? Buy now. That's our button. And let's go refresh and see the way it's working here. Okay, so now we have to scroll to see the button. So it's getting better and better. So let's go back to the height of our image. So this is the height. Yeah, let's go back to the height. Click on the layout. So we have fit width to content. Make this element fit height. No. Min height is 400. So we're looking for where are we making the mistake right now. So let's go back to our repeating group. Fit width to content, fit height to content. So let's see what's happening. Fit height to content. Refresh. Okay, so you see it's fit height to content. That's where we're having the trouble. So now we have buy now, we have our images, and it's looking really, really, really good. Okay, I think we have a few things to do. Now we have this separator all over the place. So sometimes you might not really want this separator to be visible. So you come back here to your repeating group, click on appearance, right? And you have the separator here. The trick is to turn the separator to any color of your choice, but just make it 0. Right, just make it 0, and then you can use the separator for some sort of gap spacing, right? Some sort of gap spacing for yourself, like 20, and then refresh. You should the separator should disappear and turn into a gap spacing. And then we have the outer image of the outer line, border line of the column. So we can come back here and just take this away. You know, let's see if we have a border. Right, let's see, we have no border style. Let's come to our repeating group and see if we have a border style here. So just say no border style. Or if you want a shadow, you can give it a shadow, but who wants border style these days? So no border style. You see, our repeating group is as good as new. Don't worry, this line, removing this screw line here requires some sort of CSS, but who cares? We can always, I'm going to show you how to do that in a different lesson entirely. And sometimes you might want to display these cards in twos, 2 rows or 3 rows. So you can come back here and come to your repeating group and say the number of rows you want, right, is 2, right? Number of rows is 2. So if you come back here, refresh, number of rows should turn to 2. So you can see our card. We now have 2 cards right here. So let's see what happens if we remove the number of rows. Like we say, no number of rows. Let's see what happens. And we see like this. What's going to happen? So we have it like this, no number of rows. And let's just say display things horizontally. Wrapped horizontally. Let's see what happens. So you see, we have the same thing. So the thing is, once you add anything, it's going to wrap and come to the next line. Once you add anything to it, it's going to wrap and come to the next line. So you use this technique when you do not know the number of items in your database and you can't guess it, especially when these items are going to be added by the user, or it's going to be added to you, but you don't really know how much inventory or how many items you want to list in your database. So that's it. That's how you would create a repeating group and use it in your Bubble application. So I hope you enjoyed it. It was pretty long compared to the other video, but I really wanted you to understand how repeating groups work. I'm pretty sure now you're able to use repeating group in your application, in your SaaS application, and you're able to build the app of your dreams. So remember, there are some links below. Do click on it and you'll be able to hopefully learn from me or probably call me to build your project. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you in a different lesson entirely. Bye.